That is how you respond. The Dodgers even the series at 2 games apiece with a commanding 8-0 victory in Game 4. He's Beau Benson. My name's Ryan Bershinger. Let's just dive right into it. This is the Sick Podcast, the Dodger Zone. Let's get into it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. The Dodger Zone.
Strike three. Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Fernando Valenzuela has pitched a no-hitter at 10:17 in the evening of June the 29th, 1990. If you have a sombrero, throw it to the sky.
The sickest LA Dodgers podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Beau, that might be the most fun I've had watching a game in a long time.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, the reverse jinx was successful.
Good job.
Well done. You're welcome, everybody.
Credit to you.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I think the best part was shutting out the Padres in a bullpen game.
Yeah.
So that all the old men that spent the day complaining about it being a bullpen game will still do so.
Yeah.
They're never going to stop. But that was a very funny little piece of art there.
So many hot takes today about the Dodgers going with the bullpen game. And I get it. Look, like Colin Cowherd mentioned like 5 times, it's like, Dylan Cease versus a bullpen game doesn't look good. And I understand, yeah, on paper that doesn't look great. However, Dodgers bullpen has been excellent. Yeah. Dylan Cease on short rest was a mistake. They shouldn't have done that. And so I'm so happy that backfired on them because quite frankly, it was a poor decision. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's I think, I don't know if it was on the show or through text, but like there have been times where it's felt like this series was both managers being like, no, you can win. No, you can win. No, you can win. And that was Mike Schultz's turn today. Like, that's what's crazy. Yeah, Mike Schultz he's not a good manager by any means. No. Like, really is not. And using Dylan Cease today was just a bad decision for a team that made no sense.
It was pretty bizarre. I understand, yes, Cease is your best pitcher. And when Cease is good, he's elite. But when Cease doesn't have his best stuff, he gets rocked. He is a very polarizing pitcher.
That's what I never really got about Cease this year. Like, it seemed like you'd have Nightingale tweet out like, "Oh, Dylan Cease is dominating," and then you tune into the game and it's like, yeah, he's just giving up 4 runs to the Marlins or something like that. Like, it's very strange.
Yeah. So it was a really bizarre decision. I understand they wanted to line themselves up to toss out Darvish in Game 5, given how well he pitched in Game 2. Mm-hmm. I get it. However, you're up 2-1. I feel like it was pitching Dylan Cease on short rest really the best decision for your team. Like, was that the most? Did that put you in the best chance to win? Because you've got Martin Perez there, and I get it. Martin Perez is an older pitcher; he's been around a while, but since the Padres got him, he'd been rather effective. This would have been Joe Musgrove if Joe Musgrove did not get hurt. So maybe losing a starting pitcher kind of broke Mike Schultz's brain, and he just kind of was like, you know what? Just let's toss Cease out there again. If you want to pitch Darvish in Game 5, you can still do that, even if you don't throw Cease in Game 4. You can have both of them in some sort of way.
Yeah, so, well, that's I think what hurt them the most is now they do not have. Theoretically, they don't have Cease in Game 5.
Yeah.
You might. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, he only threw like 40 pitches. So
he didn't really get that much work. But like, yeah, just an odd decision. And it's strange to me too. Like, the Padres have the best bullpen probably in the playoffs right now. So like, are you just afraid to do a bullpen game? Like, you don't want that to be the perception or something? I don't know. Just a weird decision all around, I think.
Yeah, it was an odd choice. And I was really pulling for in that second inning. I was hoping Ryan Brazier would get 5 outs rather than he got pulled at 4, just so we can make the point of like, hey, all this hand wringing about the Dodgers bullpen game and Dylan Cease and Ryan Brazier got the same amount of outs, but in the end, Cease only got 1 more out than Ryan Brazier did. So, I mean, first off, credit to Ryan Brazier. He has been phenomenal this series. Yes, he did give up that home run to Jackson Merrill in game 3. or excuse me, game 2. But outside of that, he has been absolute nails when he's been used. And he got this game started off right. He's facing the best batters in their lineup and got the job done. In fact, it's the most effective start the Dodgers have had in the postseason
really
in years, quite frankly. 4 up, 4 down.
This may have been the best overall game they've played in like 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
Honestly. And there's so many aspects. It was great all the way around. And even with stupid things happening, like game 3 was a standard Dodgers playoff loss where they lost because of some of the dumbest shit that you've ever seen.
But they did. Like that's the key there.
Sure.
Like they did.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was them shooting themselves in the foot. With poor decisions and really, really bad errors. But in game 4, the dumb shit that happened to the Dodgers didn't end up hurting them. They won 8-0 instead of 9-0 because the ball hit the umpire off of Machado's glove. That would have easily been another RBI. The only difference that made is like maybe that 5-0 or versus 6-0 differential there. Maybe then they go to Knack earlier. Maybe they don't use Trinan at all. That's the only sort of complaint that we can really put out there is that using Blake Trinan in the 8th felt a little excessive with an 8-0 lead. You figure Landon Knack should be able to get you 6 outs. It's a good opportunity for him to get his feet wet in the postseason.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yes, it was a must-win game and with an off day tomorrow. So if you unload the clip and empty the bullpen, fine, so be it. I think Dave managed this game masterfully. I think he pushed all the right buttons with the bullpen. They had an excellent game plan through and through with the pitching staff. And I mean, the results show it. This is their largest shutout win in postseason history, 8-0. And that was with no starting pitcher. I mean, technically Landon Knack, but he pitched the 9th inning. Yeah. So I really, really an impressive performance by the pitching staff all the way through. And this has been the big thing that we've been saying. People kind of freak out over the lack of starting pitching on this team. And if the Dodgers move past this series, that might be a bigger issue later on down the road. But in terms of right now, this bullpen is phenomenal. And they can absolutely carry this team despite whatever starting pitching or lack thereof you might get from this staff. It's a really, really strong bullpen. And it showed it tonight. It was a really, really great team win.
Yeah. The Dave stuff is so interesting. He has been much like last year. He's not made incorrect moves in games. Everything he's done has worked out, and he hasn't panicked. And there was one questionable thing in what was it, game 1 when he went to Kopech instead of trying in there. That's the only questionable thing. It is interesting though. Like game 5 is hanging so heavy over the rest of the perception of how this postseason is going to go. Like it's because Darvish was not he was not hittable in game 2. They did not do anything to him. Kudos to Mookie Betts. Bullying works, as we can all see. There's no doubt about that one.
Yeah, you know what? That's a credit to Dodger fans for bullying Mookie Betts into remembering that he's Mookie Betts. That's work.
But like tonight really is just the whole thing, right? Like if Mookie and Shohei can hit, at least like once or twice, good things tend to happen. The middle of the lineup started going tonight, and that's you're gonna have to carry that into game 5.
Yeah.
I would like Dodger fans to show up and actually create a home field advantage on Friday. They need to match the energy because the Padres fans were great these last 2 games, and if they move on, they're going to be great going forward. I think like they get up for the shit. They know what it's about. Like I'd like to see that from Dodger fans, and I think the team would benefit if Dodger fans kind of got up and got excited the way they did, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it is now, when they were 2017, 2018, those years. But that's something you deal with on Friday, I guess. But it's good that they moved on. Freddie's going to be an interesting thing hanging over the team. I wonder if he's going to be available.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple things there. For one, I mean, and this is just multiple points about Mookie's performance, especially. This is now back-to-back games with a home run for Mookie Betts, and really should be 3 straight if we're being real. Hit a ball into the stands in game 2. It's been awesome to see him respond in this manner. Like this is I was very concerned off the top of the game. Obviously, I came into the game rather nervous. And then the first batter, Ohtani, flied out on a fastball up in the zone that I thought he typically could get a hold of. And I was like, all right, yeah, this is over. This isn't going to go well. If Ohtani's not getting a hold of that, then we're screwed. And then for Mookie to instantly homer once again, it also took the crowd out of it. I thought that the Padres fans were a complete non-factor in game 4, which was a huge thing. Because as I've said, the Padres, the entire organization runs off of vibes. And the vibes carried them in game 3. And it got them absolutely nowhere in game 4 because Mookie killed the vibes instantly. And Ryan Brazier shut it down in the bottom of the first. And then the Dodgers kept scoring there in the top of the second. And that Padres Stadium was taken out of it. Those fans were out of it. They left. They left a couple innings before the end.
There's more. My point is just that it feels like they're waiting for something to happen until it looks like it's out of reach. But it is what it is. Honestly, like Dodger fans they have a chance here to redeem themselves. I just saw this quote from Estrada here where he's complaining about having to play back at Dodger Stadium. If I was a commissioner of baseball, I wouldn't even allow a game 5 at their place.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because he said that. Yeah, that's
bad news, dude.
Right.
Really bad news for you, buddy.
This third world country of Los Angeles is such a terrible place for him to go. So I understand. No, this is it's very excited to have the game come back, and I think that the fans can really create a positively intense atmosphere. Because the fans are going to respond, and we're coming off of this game. This is the thing. And this is a big thing. This is why this game was so much fun, because today was awful. This morning and everything after game 3 was just terrible because it felt like the series was over. Because for them to have the inning from hell last night, and then for them to bring the game close and then never actually even the score for 6 innings after that was awful. And it felt like, all right, this is it. Like this team has nothing left. They've lost it. They're going to easily get shelled in game 4. It's over. And for them to not only win game 4, but to do so in incredibly all-around dominating fashion, it completely changes the outlook of the fan base. It completely changes the way that we're feeling going into game 5. And it completely changes the way the team is feeling going into game 5. And that is huge. So this was as good of a win as they could have had. It's not just about staying alive. It was about really trying to retake control of the series. And now they've got one game in their home ballpark in which the Padres haven't scored in 15 innings now. Like this is setting up, as we said earlier on in the series, if it goes 5, the advantage is to the Dodgers. And I do feel like the advantage has swung back in the Dodgers' favor. However, the one negative there is every time the pendulum swings the other way, the other team wins the game. So that's my only concern about going into game 5. But I mean, really, Mookie got things started offensively, which was so huge. And I think that lifts everyone up too, to not only see their teammate performing, but also see a leader, a star performing when everybody has been hounding him because he hasn't been able to perform for the last couple postseasons. I think that alone lifted everyone. And then having Will Smith homer as well, which was much needed. Max Muncy double right in front of him. These are 2 guys who have been struggling as well. To have them lift up the middle of the order. And I want to talk more about other guys in the order, but I don't want to. I know you have a couple thoughts, so I want to let you speak.
No. You're good. No, it is, and it's interesting forcing a game 5. I mean, long-term thinking, because like they were not favored to win this series by anybody, right? So
No.
it'll be interesting to see the reaction on how game 5 ends. And I think there's a little bit of playing with house money at this point for the Dodgers too. There should not really be a lot of pressure on them going into game 5, outside of the standard pressure that they felt every single time they've been in the postseason. So I'm very interested to see how they come out in game 5. And have they named a starter yet? Have they mentioned it?
I think it's pretty assumed that it's Yoshi, but I haven't seen anything just yet.
I think I would start Flaherty.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, like have Yoshi in the pen if you need to, because you're emptying the clip, right? Like no one's not pitching, and it's just Yoshi's not been great this year against San Diego. But
I think Chad Moriyama made the point is just kind of view Yoshi as an opener, which is how the Dodgers have viewed kind of winner take all games in the postseason in the past. They've tossed out like Tony Gonsolin as starters in those games, and he's only, he would get like 5 outs and then they would go to the pen. I could see them kind of doing that with Yoshi, putting him in because especially since he's so particular in his preparation, I would rather have him prepare as the starter rather than trying to work him out of the pen, because it might mess with them a little too much.
I think that's right. Yeah.
And Jack should then be available in some manner. And this is the big point too with the pen. I don't know if I said it already, but because of the off day, everybody's going to be available again. Like really, Bonda, Hudson, and Kopech are the only 3 guys who pitched in both games 3 and 4. So you figure everybody's going to be available. Yeah, like even Treinen, it as I said earlier, felt excessive to use him in the 8th, but he also hadn't pitched in the series since game 1. So he's still fully available for game 5. Really, everybody will be. So it is a true all hands on deck. And it made it work out even more because of the fact that Buehler was able to give them 5 in game 3. I think that was huge. You covered game 3. So I didn't get to give thoughts, but I do want to especially shout out Walker Buehler because I thought that he really did rise to the occasion. Yes, I understand he didn't miss many bats. He didn't have any strikeouts. But he was also asked to get like 6 outs in the second inning, which was absurd. And sure, he gave up a home run to Fernando Tatis Jr., who is literally putting up Babe Ruth numbers in the postseason. It's insane. But outside of that, to then for him to then respond and come back into the game after that second inning and pitch 3 more innings without giving up anything, I thought was incredibly impressive. I think it shows his heart. I think it shows his big game ability. And I hope they do bring him back on like a 1-year deal because he's a Dodger through and through. And that was a sort of start that reminded us all why we love Walker Buehler. So thank you, Walker. That was a huge performance, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, bring him back and bring back sticky stuff.
Yes. And so that way you can throw 98 and strike out 10 again.
Yeah, that's right.
That would be nice. Also, credit to the back part of the order, and that has been the key, is when those 7, 8, 9 guys are getting on base. Shohei Ohtani has completely flipped from the first month of the season. He now hits better when people are on base. So when guys get on base for him, he drives them in, which is just a wonderful thing. Ohtani had a very strong game tonight. It was lovely to see. And Gavin Lux getting that homer late in the game. He has looked better and better in many of his at-bats. That's been great. I think that Kike should quite frankly start every game now.
There's no reason for him not to. It doesn't make any sense.
Miguel Rojas.
I didn't mention that last night, but there's no reason for Rojas to play again.
He has a muscle like hanging off of his body. Like
he's 40. He's geriatric. Like there's no need.
Miguel Rojas faced a lot of hate after last night, and I get it. Like he had a massive brain fart for a guy who's one of the best defensive shortstops in the league to suddenly think that he could turn a double play on his own, despite the fact that his groin is detached from his body. It was weird. And because of that, we had that awful inning. I think it's best to just honestly put him on the IL, because if Freddie is going to be a game to game kind of basis, especially if the Dodgers do move forward, you can't afford to have both Rojas and Freddie on the bench, because you can't, that's two people you can't use. So I would put Rojas on the IL. That would mean James Outman then makes the playoff roster.
Dalton Rushing. It's on the taxi squad, I think.
Yeah. These are the guys. I'd probably opt for Outman just because they've taken out Teoscar for defensive replacements for the last couple games now. So put Outman in center, and if you want to have both Kike and Taylor play and then just have them switch off center field and third base every inning just for the hell of it, fine. That's fun. Just keep doing it, whatever. Shout out to Chris Taylor, by the way. Chris Taylor was 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts tonight, and I think it's the single greatest 0 for 4 for 4 strikeouts performance that anybody has ever had offensively. Because quite frankly, this is what we talked about with the triple play. Miguel Rojas was better off striking out because Ohtani was up after him.
Yeah.
Chris Taylor went up there, tried to bunt. He couldn't do it, and then just struck out. And then every bat after that just kept striking out. I think only one time it actually ended the inning. But outside of that, you're just then bringing up Ohtani with people on base. So you know what? Fine. That's better than a double play. Hell of a lot better than a triple play. Just go up there and strike out, and then let Ohtani come up, and then Ohtani drives him in because he gets hits when people are on base. So, you know what? Credit to CT3, the best golden sombrero that anyone has ever seen. That was really well done.
Yeah, no, I think my main takeaway from Game 4 here is I was absolutely ready to just come on here and just be despondent. Well, not despondent, but you watching the games earlier in the day, especially the Mets Phillies game, when Lindor came up and hit that grand slam to go ahead and basically win the game. The immediate thought is like, wow, it really must be nice when your stars perform in the postseason. And we don't have to do that tonight because that's what happened tonight. The Dodgers stars came up big and they performed in the postseason. So you just got to do it one more time. Just try it again on Friday. There's really no reason for them to lose Game 5 at home against a 40-year-old Yu Darvish, but crazier things have happened. But I do feel less down about them losing Game 5, if that makes sense. Like if they lose, then they lost. It's a 5-game series against probably the best team in baseball since the All-Star break. Not probably the best team in baseball flat right now is the Padres, I would say. So if you lose a 5-game series to them, that's the way the cookie crumbles. You can't do anything about it, but they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. There's no reason to do that. You have a home Game 5. It's what you win 98 games in the regular season for. It's what you win the NL West for. So you should win that game.
Yeah, it's insane. This is by far the most evenly matched series of the postseason.
Oh yeah,
like it's not really close. The American League is kind of a joke, even though the Tigers are up on the Guardians. But it just, I mean, we have a lot of thoughts about the postseason in general. Like it is just wild to me that like people had been all day complaining about the Dodgers rolling out a bullpen game. Meanwhile, the Tigers made up a guy and had him open their game today, and they end up winning. And they've got a 2-1 series lead on the Guardians. The Tigers. And also like the Guardians rolled out Alex Cobb, and they had Matthew Boyd as their Game 2 starter.
Yeah,
and like
the Mets had Sean Manaea and Jose Quintana shut down the Phillies 2 days in a row. Like
if the Dodgers had come into the postseason with a rotation of Sean Manaea and Matthew Boyd, like people would have been calling for Andrew Friedman's head. Yeah. Like, and Boyd threw 7 shutout innings. Like, he matched Tark's ball pitch for pitch. Like, it's the playoffs are just so weird. They're so weird. But yet this series has been, I don't want to say it's been truly representative, because there's been a lot of weird shit that's happened in this series too, obviously. But it is incredibly even, because these are arguably the 2 best teams in the league.
I think so, yeah.
And whoever wins is then gonna, be eliminated by the Mets in 5. Probably, because apparently that's just how it goes. Like, that's just, and then the Tigers will win the World Series in 6 games, and that's how this is how the things are now in the MLB playoffs. But no, I think in all seriousness, no, the Dodgers were incredibly impressive tonight. Really, like, all the way around. I can't stress that enough. Everybody except for Chris Taylor had a hit.
Yeah.
And as I said, Chris Taylor, the most valuable over 4 for 4 strikeouts you'll ever see. Kike had 2 hits. And I think there is actually something to having that level of postseason experience in the lineup, especially when you're facing elimination like this. Like, I felt very comfortable with Kike Hernandez in the lineup. It's the most comfortable I've felt with Kike in the lineup this entire season. Like, I was very happy to see him as a part of the lineup, because you can't help but notice, like, his playoff track record is very impressive. And I even felt kind of comfortable with Chris Taylor in the lineup, because he does have some postseason success to back it up. Obviously, rather would have Freddie Freeman, but that's the other point too. They put up 8 runs tonight without Freddie Freeman, and that's really impressive. Really impressive. But that's what this team should be doing. As you said, when the stars perform as they should, both Ohtani and Mookie had very good games. And because of that, the offense followed suit. You got a home run from the middle of the lineup. You got a home run from the back part of the lineup. Tommy Edman had a beautiful bunt. just a beautiful bunt that he arguably beat.
I thought he was safe. I thought he was safe.
So it was a solid challenge. Because you couldn't make the case that he had tied. But again, that was a good play, because it got that run home, and that was very necessary at that point in the game. And then overall, I think the pitching strategy was excellent. Again, Mike Schilt came into this game knowing that the Dodgers were employing a bullpen game, and despite that, like, the back half of his lineup was almost entirely left-handed. So then he kind of walked into a situation where, we just put Bonda to face the second half of the lineup the first time through, and then Vesia to face it the second time through. And I really liked the decision to go to Michael Kopech in the third, because it was turning back the lineup, turning back over to the top half of the order there. And Kopech, who, according to Manny Machado, looked awful this series. Apparently,
5.1 scoreless.
Yes, Kopech has thrown 5 1/3 scoreless in this series. But there's a clip from last night's game in which Machado saying in Spanish that Kopech has been awful. He's easy to just swing at his fastball, and Kopech has helped him scoreless. So, well done, Michael. But I thought that was a good spot for him too, because of his slightly erratic nature. Go to him a little bit earlier instead of preserving him as a closer. Have him just attack that top part of the order and get the job done, which he did. So, I can't. All around, I'm very, very happy with the way the team responded. I'm very happy with the way Dave responded, and the organization responded with their game plan. And the guys executed. It was really, really an overall great team win. And now it's just hoping that carries into Game 5. But as I said earlier, the only concern is momentum has not been carrying over for either team. It has been a truly back and forth series. So Game 5 can very well be anyone's game. I think the Dodgers are going to win it. I think they should.
Just Yu Darvish at Dodger Stadium and a winner go home. Where have we seen that movie before?
Exactly. There's no way that Yu Darvish throws another 7 shutout innings. There's famous last words, but there's just no way that happens again.
That would be the maximum pain outcome, which is why I kind of lean towards that happening.
Right.
But who knows? We'll see.
No.
We'll see.
All right. Well, I think that was fun. Like I said, that was a fun
nice.
game.
It was very nice to not have a playoff game where I was hyperventilating.
Yeah.
Throughout it.
Yeah.
And I hope that is the same. That is the case on Friday.
Yeah.
Please God.
Yeah.
That's all I ask.
Seriously. Just a complete 180 in terms of after game 3, it was sort of those feelings of like, why do I care about this? Like
inevitability, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like this is awful. They're really doing this again. This is terrible. And then watching the game tonight was like, yeah, this is why I actually like this. Because when you get to watch your team actually perform well in the postseason, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So let's hope to God the good times roll. 2 down, 9 to go. Okay, 9 to go.
Yeah.
But we've got one very big one in order to continue that countdown. Beau, any final thoughts on this series here on Game 4?
There's none. There's none left. There's nothing left to talk about. It's just go fucking win. That's all there is, dude.
Please, God, please. All right. Well, still enjoy this win as we can. We've got a day off here, so we get to bask in the glory of the victory a little bit, and we look forward trepidatiously to Game 5. And hopefully the next time we talk, we're celebrating a division series win. And if not, for Monty Bolaños, she's behind the update desk tonight at Fox Sports Radio, so she's rather preoccupied. But he's Beau Benson. My name is Ryan Bershinger. Until Game 5, domo arigato, everyone. Thank you very much. Enjoy yourselves.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast, The Dodgers Zone, on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.